What's going on, guys? This is GT iamthetie bringing you a guest narrated Wi-Fi battle today on Sharpedophile's channel. Obviously, welcome to all of Sharpedophile's viewers. You guys are in for a treat today. Sharpedophile asked me to do a guest narrated Wi-Fi battle, and I was more than happy to oblige. I looked over the match. This match is really cool, so definitely go check it out. Let's get this battle started, right? Alright, guys, now first of all, really cool that he does live recordings. I really like that. I love the gap in between all the different moves so you can kind of explain your thought process. Obviously, I don't know what he was thinking at the time, but I'm going to try to emulate it. Let's see what I can do. But apparently we got a genie out here against a Mammothswine. Obvious, Willow is obvious here. Most Mammothswines are very physical. That's just kind of the good move to go for. Apparently the opponent is not packing a Lumberry. I don't see Lefty, so I really don't know what item that thing's holding, because the opponent's going to go for an Earthquake, so obviously he's not choiced. But yeah, I have no idea. He must be packing an Expert Belt or something to that nature. But he's gonna go for Nightshade. Factoring in the burn, that's gonna be a clean 2-hit KO. I think Sharpedophile is gonna go for the Sucker Punch. Obviously, the opponent realizes that Mammothswine is kind of useless, so in comes the Sucker Punch. It's not able to take him out, so that's a little bit unfortunate. But gonna go for the Earthquake, and that Earthquake is barely scratching that Duskmar. So the opponent managed to get up the rocks, which kind of sucks, but on the other hand, he had to sacrifice a poke to do it. So that's a good exchange for Sharpedophile. Now, the opponent's gonna go ahead and switch out into Ironhead, which is the Heatran. And obviously, I don't know if it's a subset, a spec set, a scarf set, but Sharpedophile doesn't know either, doesn't want to give the opponent a free substitute, so I think he's going to stay in with the Duskmar, obviously go for the Earthquake on the off chance that the opponent overpredicts. And in comes an Aerodactyl now, because he has a free switch, and I think this Aerodactyl is actually choice banded, so the opponent is obviously fearing the Earthquake. He's going to go ahead and switch into a Skarmory, and that kind of sucked, just because since he is locked into Earthquake, he is going to be forced to switch now. Now, the nice thing about Skarmorys out there is that Skarmorys are super predictable, so he can freely go into Porygon Z expecting a Spike Layer, which is exactly what the opponent does, and at this point he can obviously threaten with a Thunderbolt, so the opponent's going to switch expecting a Thunderbolt, so good switch by the opponent. He goes into Big Mama, which is the Snorlax, and the Snorlax is going to take pretty pitiful damage, so it must be a very specially defensive variety. And now Sharpedophile is going to go for the Tri-Attack. It's going to do a lot more damage because he has the Adaptability ability, and I'm going to go for the Body Slam here. And that's going to be a clean 2-hit KO, but this is where the coolness factor kicks in. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Sharpedophile's custom Porygon Z set, but I've never seen this before. I was really surprised, and I think it actually worked really well. The opponent is going to go for the Body Slam, obviously not predicting that Pain Split. Going to knock him down into the area where the Salic Boost is going to go. And obviously the opponent can KO the Snorlax, but that means that Snorlax is completely useless because he'll be at like 2 HP. So the opponent's going to go for the rest, apparently kind of valuing the especially defensive bulk that the Snorlax has. And this is really cool because obviously with this set, he can go for the Pain Split now on this turn, recover back a whole bunch of HP, and then as long as the opponent's not packing Rest Talk, then he can get a 2-hit KO on the Snorlax, which is really cool. I think you could probably do this to a Bliss that's not packing Thunder Wave also. So the opponent's going to go for an Earthquake, and because that's what he pulled on the Rest Talk, which is kind of unfortunate, but obviously he only has a 66% chance of actually pulling an attacking move on the next turn, so going to go for the Tri-Attack, obviously hoping that the opponent's not going to pull that move, but he goes for the Sleep Talk and he pulls a Body Slam, so that kind of sucks. I don't know how much sweeping this Porygon Z could have technically done, but I really like the way he set it up. If the opponent probably would have forced a Heatran or a Scarf Poke out, or someone with a priority move, but out comes Android 17 because Dragon Ball Z references Pro, and he's just going to go for the close combat here. No need to overpredict. Now the opponent apparently wants to save the Snorlax for some reason, which is really weird. He's going to go ahead and switch into a Skarmory, which is a bad move by the opponent because I think he's running a specially defensive Skarm with the careful nature, and especially defensive Skarms don't take stab close combats very well. So obviously I don't think the opponent realized that because he just thinks Skarmory, physical wall, so he's going to have to switch now. He's going to go into a Starmie, but unless he's packing one of those bulky Rapid Spinners, I don't think that's necessarily a good switch either. So he's going to go for the close combat. It's going to be a clean 1-hit KO because he does get the critical hit. I don't think that really mattered because that Gallade could be packing Shadow Sneak. So at this point, the opponent's going to go ahead and switch out into a Heatran, and this kind of raises a red flag in my head. I kind of think that this Heatran is Scarf now, otherwise it would take a close combat to the face. It could be bluffing a Scarf, though. You never know. Regardless, you don't know what move he's going to lock himself into. If it's Fire Blast, then Gardevoir is a very tempting switch. On the other hand, if he goes for a Dragon Pulse or an Earth Power, Gardevoir is not particularly bulky, and it really can't take the move. And I think it's packing Leftovers, and I think the element of surprise is kind of on Sharpedophile's side if he doesn't switch in the Gardevoir. So he's going to leave the Gallade in as fodder. And obviously the opponent locked himself into Earth Power, so that's a free switch for Arrow, because he can't be touched by an earth power, and he's going to get a free hit off on anything. Definitely don't need to go for the earthquake here, just because the Heatran can't touch him. You can definitely kill him off with a Stone Edge, and if you don't one-hit KO him, it's going to be a two-hit KO. So out comes the Skarm, and he's just going to go for the Stone Edge, and that's going to be able to take out the Skarmory, which is really, really nice. And now the opponent's probably going to switch back in that Heatran now, because you know that it's Scarf now, and obviously you can predict the Fire Blast. I mean, the Fire Blast can KO you from that range, but he could kill you with a Dragon Pulse or a Hidden Power or anything else. So I think Sharpedophile is just going to play it safe, and he wants to safe switch into his Gardevoir, I believe. So he's just going to leave his arrow in his fodder. The opponent's actually going to go for a Dragon Pulse here, which is actually a really, really good play. Obviously, if he would have switched out the Gardevoir, trying to get the Flash Fire boost to get the just to get a free switch in, he would have taken quite a bit of damage. So you're gonna go ahead and switch in the Gardevoir now, and because he switched him in safely, the opponent doesn't know what type of set this is. It could be running leftovers, it could be one of those bulky sets, it could be running a Choice Scarf set. So the opponent's gonna have to switch now. He's gonna go ahead and switch out into Snorlax, and Sharpedophile is super ballsy. He's gonna go for a Calm Mind on the predicted switch, which is actually really, really pro. And the opponent is going to, I guess, just leave the Snorlax in his fodder. I think he should have left the Snorlax in his fodder a lot earlier. But down goes the Snorlax, no big deal. And I think the opponent's going to switch out into Heatran, but because Sharpedophile has that +1 on the Calm Mind, the opponent doesn't know if the Dragon Pulse is going to be able to KO. So I think what the opponent's going to do right here is he's actually going to go for a Fire Blast, completely forgetting about Trace. And obviously, Trace is just a really, really awesome ability. He's going to go for another Calm Mind, predicting the opponent to bobble, or he just really, really ballsy, and he has a lot more special defensive investment than I think he does. But he's going to go for a Thunder Wave, predicting the switch out, and in comes Tarzan. And apparently he's packing a Lumberry, so it's not a mix of physical set. It's probably not packing the Choice Band, obviously, so you don't have to fear the U-turn, so he's just going to go for the Psychic. And out comes the Trent again on the predicted Psychic. Good play by the opponent. But at this point, he's a +2, so a Dragon Pulse probably won't be able to KO him from that range. So the opponent is going to opt to just go for the Explosion, and this actually works out really, really well for Sharpedophile. I think the opponent just played into his hand, so he's going to be able to take out the Gardevoir. Now we got a 1 versus 1 matchup. The opponent does have that Infernape in the wings, which is normally pretty threatening, unless, of course, you're Sharpedophile and you happen to be packing Royalty, which is a Kingdra. And obviously, Kingdras have very, very nice bulk all across the board, and this is either a Nasty Plot Ape or it's a Swords Dance Ape, but he's going to go for the Thunder Punch. Probably could have gone for the close combat, but regardless of what move he did, because he's packing the Lumberry, it's not going to be able to KO that Kingdra, and he's going to be able to go for a Waterfall, take him out, and that's a 1-0, guys. So that was a really, really fun match. Hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely go click that like button for Sharpedophile if you did, and if you like my narration, I'll tell Sharpedophile to leave a link to my channel in the description as well, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Catch you another time. Bye.